Hello, it's my weekly vlog for, what's today? The 28th of August. So I understand that I'm ahead of a lot of my people in the US, so it's only the 27th over there. But anyway, you're in the future if you're watching this early. If you're watching this late, don't worry about it. Okay, so when I committed to doing these vlogs once a week, I was kind of wondering whether I had enough stuff to actually talk about on these. And it's kind of like this snowball coming up at the moment. So I get all these suggestions and comments every week after every vlog. So I have all these things that I want to talk about. The main thing I'll be talking about today is letter journals. So if you're here watching about letter journals, I'll talk about all of that stuff first, and then I'll get into my, you know, kooky life after that. In case you're not interested in the kooky life and you're just interested in information about letter journals. Okay, and I will put a summary of the particular topics about letter journals that I actually put in this. So okay, so there's been, we're getting in, like I'm on my 30th group now that I'm administering within Crazy Island Family. But I just want to make sure that I put this open to anybody on my channel, and I would say also Gina Aaron's channel, Meridel Abrams, the Mary Atelia's channel, Claudia Rossi's channel. I will put the links for the email address on how to sign up for this particular swap. But I just want to stress here, if you are not in Crazy Island Family, then you should consider that, because most of the swaps are administered in an event from there, because you really need a Facebook group to actually administer a swap so that a lot of variations can occur and a lot of collaboration, and there's a larger group of people that want to do this, and so you could be involved in, you know, I think I'm involved in like 9 swaps at the moment. Some are private, some are through Crazy Island Family, so you can have a lot of swaps, as few as you like. There's no limit to the amount of swaps that you can do, but you need to make sure that you understand that a swap takes basically about 4 months. You have a month to do each journal. There's 4 journals. You start with yours, you do your double spread, you add some collaborative elements and give some instructions about any intentions you've got for maybe some collaboration pages in your first journal. You put the addresses in the order that they are to be posted on the back. That's the basic thing. Then you have to do at least a double spread and contribute to collaborative pages on the other 3 journals in your swap. And I just want to point out that if you are the last person before you send that back to the owner, then you need to make sure that there's no blank pages left. And I want to make this very clear. If you are in a group, no matter what stage you're in, whether it's 1, 2, 3 or 4, you need to understand that if everybody just does a double page, there'll be between 2 and 3 blank pages left. Double spreads left at the end if you don't collaborate. And what you do then is, if you don't add to collaboration pages, you are leaving it to the last person in that swap round before they send it back to the owner to fill up the rest of that journal. Now that's happened to me probably 5 times so far with people that kind of don't get the intention of the swap or haven't thought that process through. So now that we're more mature and we've had a few swaps finish, and a few participants have contacted me and said, is this the way it's supposed to happen, and things like that, I'm now going to say, you know, if you're in a swap, then make sure that you don't just do your double spread and that you add collaborative pages. It's sometimes good to put a little mugshot of yourself as a contributor, particularly if you're not in Crazy Island Family and you don't communicate with all those, although I highly recommend that you do join, because it's a great community and we're only encouraging, no matter where your art journey is. And the links to join that group, to ask for administration, are there. You can tell I'm still sick, I'm a bit nasally, and I have a cup of tea because I'm not really a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker, and you know, it helps. Right, so there are another few issues. So the next one is there's been an issue where someone's double spread was completely covered over and they had signed their page. Now, I just want to make it really clear to all of you participants, and I know the majority, like 99.9% of people out there completely leave those completed double spreads alone, and that's fine. You can, if you think you can enhance them, do it. But I've seen a lot coming in completely sealed and finished, and you don't want to touch that anyway, because then you've got to reseal it and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to say here is really important, and I've already put a message on Krazy Island Family about that, is you need to sign your work. You need to sign your work on your double completed spread, and you need to, and that indicates that that page is then finished, right? There's nothing wrong with someone then going in and maybe just enhancing it a little bit or adding something in, particularly if you don't have a quote or a saying and they can think of something amazing to put with that, fine. You then need to make sure, if you're a participant after that, that you preserve that person's work, because what can happen is that the intention is not to completely obliterate one of the swap partners' contributions here. So we want to encourage everybody, and there's so many pages, it should never happen. But can you imagine how somebody would feel? And for me particularly, I'm just going to use myself as an example. If I put a lot of work and effort into a letter journal page and I'm doing it for someone else, and I've put a lot of thought and love into that, imagine how I would feel if they then posted pictures of their completed journal and my page was gone and not there. How do you think that that makes a swap partner feel? And the whole purpose of the swap, I then potentially think, is lost, because this is done to encourage and promote edification and collaboration amongst the art community, no matter where you are in your art journey, and to build friendships. And I don't think friendships are going to be built if people's work are completely obliterated and covered up in a journal. And I get that everybody is in different places in their art journals and their art journeys, and not everybody's work is of the same standard, but who cares? People are there to do their best work, and if that's where they are at the time, then that's where they're at. And if we can encourage and help make things better, all well and good. But I just want to counsel against completely covering up someone's work, particularly if they've signed it. So I'm adding into the rules on emails that I send out on swaps and highlighting it, that you don't cover up signed work, because it's really important. And so therefore it's very important to sign your work. And even on a collaboration page, sign whatever you've done, and don't be afraid to put post-it notes with instructions. So we can start this whenever. You can start. I've just sent out seven journals in the last 5 days, and in all of those I've put post-it notes with instructions, and I've started collaboration pages which weren't started prior to me. I've left post-it notes in with instructions for other journals, and I've also added to collaboration pages, done my double page, and I've even done a single page, because I realised that the owner may have put one too many pages in, which meant that there's more work for everybody to do. And so I've gone in. But when I was at the end of the swap, and a journal rocked up on my desk with 3 double pages that were blank, and so I had the choice to do a double page and collaborate and then still leave blank pages, I decided that I would complete those journals and not send back unfinished work to the owners. So it's something very important that we all keep everybody's best interests at heart. And I know I sound really serious here, but this is such a fun thing. And I really never thought when I embarked on this project that it would get so big. And it's only getting bigger and growing exponentially by the day. And I didn't kind of think all these kinds of things through. So it's something to keep track of when we're doing all these letter journals each week. The other thing that I want to talk about is journals that go missing. So I know of 3 swaps at the moment, 2 private, 1 in Crazy Island family, that have just stopped because one of the participants is either stockpiling journals or hasn't sent them on for whatever reason. I get that life comes up, but if that's happening for you and you're the one that's got some journals and you've got some there and you're feeling overwhelmed, contact me, contact your journal group and let them know what's going on. Prioritize doing a little bit here and there. Put notes in the journals to explain what's happened, because it's all part of life. And this is what we're doing here, is sharing part of our lives. It's not just about the art, it's about writing bits and pieces in, creating friendships. I know there are some journal swap groups that have gone round once and then they want to do the same group again and they've initiated private swap. There's nothing wrong with that either. I think it's great. Some tips if your journal has gone missing or you're finding it hard to contact. Find your group members on Facebook and send them friend requests. Number 1 tip. Send them an email, because their email addresses were all on the original swap email. So number 1, keep your swap emails that I send out. It has all the contact details for me, or the letter journal swap email, and it also has the contact details for all of your swap partners. And you can talk to them privately. So I would suggest, in my private swaps, I've always befriended those people and created chat groups, and we talk about stuff all the time. And I had a journal turn up on my desk the other day where all the names and addresses were in the wrong order, so they weren't in the right posting order. Then there was numbers next to them and the numbers were not in the right order for posting either. And I was able to sort that whole thing out via a chat on Facebook. And that was great, because we had started that chat. I had said to them, I'm not going to initiate or start up or post out any journals until we all get into a chat, because none of us know each other yet. And we're all strangers, and so we need to start collaborating together and getting a little bit of fun going and getting to know people, and we can easily talk about what we want, if we've got questions, we can ask them. So you can always post comments and contact me here on this channel, because I am the creator of this concept. So if there's anything or any question that you have, I know it. But I also cover the majority of all of this information in my YouTube channels. And as the groups get bigger and bigger, it becomes harder and harder for me to answer individual questions. So what I try to do is address all of these on a regular basis in my vlogs and also in the first couple of instructional videos. And they are now on a playlist called Letter Journals on my channel. This vlog will get added to that playlist as well. So that's great. Now, if you still can't get any traction about that, the other thing that I have had to do in one of my private swaps was I cut that member out. And it's not something I would recommend doing lightly, and I would contact me first before doing something like that if you are in a swap that I administer. Because we try really, really hard as admins and people who look after these events to get in contact with those people and to encourage them to send those journals on even if they're uncompleted. So we try really hard to get the thing kick-started and moving again. But I would encourage you to do any and all or some of those things. They're just some of the tips and tricks that I use, and most of the time they're fine. There's only been one problem with one group that was private where that person became very intractable, and for some reason they stockpiled all the journals and it became clear that they'd never had had an intention of sending them on, and that was really disappointing, and that person no longer participates in any swaps, because the risk then of any future swaps going awry means that we can't include that person no matter if their tensions are good or not. So be aware that you need to, when you sign up, you have some responsibilities, that you have to work in journals and you have to send them out once a month. And you also need to build in for international swaps. You need to build in if you have longer postage times. So for me, I never have a journal for longer than 1 to 2 weeks, because I know that it takes 2 weeks roughly anywhere else in the world for my journal to get there. And so I know that I don't actually have a whole month. And if I am swamped with other commitments, I contact my journal group members and I let them know that it might be a bit late, or can I hang on to their journal for a little while, or particularly if I'm the last one in the swap and I've got to do more in it, then I contact that person who owns that letter journal and ask them directly, do you want me to keep this and finish off the journal, or are you happy to get some blank pages back? So it's all about communication here, people. These are not blind swaps. These are communication. It's really kind of important that we look after everyone in these swaps, and so that everyone has a great experience. The idea for this is that you get blessed. And if you're not feeling blessed being in one of these swaps, then I want you to speak up and let me know, because there's nothing that can't be sorted out. And if, the very least, if your situation is intractable, I can pop you into another swap where there are experienced swap partners where we will encourage you and get you back on your path. So that's an important thing to know. Okay, so letter journals. That's it for me on letter journals this week. So if you're only looking about this for letter journals and you don't want to hear about anything privately, then you can stop watching now, which is okay. I get it. Some people are just interested in the one thing. Ah, I love hot tea. I'm actually about hot tea. I'm absolutely in love with Yorkshire tea. For all my UK friends, Yorkshire. That's it, I got it right. We have recently had this tea stocked, and my mother-in-law, who's British, she took one look at this tea in a British shop. We paid, I think, $17 for a box of 100 tea bags, which is obscene at that point. But we hadn't seen it anywhere else. And since then, it's gone in all, like even my local little supermarket corner store up the shop. It's got it for like under $5 for a box of 100. So yay, my new favourite tea, new favourite thing. That's not art related, Yorkshire tea. Okay, have to share a funny story. I was having these issues with my cat, and she's absolutely gorgeous and I love her, and she's my precious fur baby. But she loves to sleep with us, but she gets really lazy during the night, and she will pee only on my clothes. So she won't pee on my husband's clothes, but she'll pee on my clothes because I'm a little bit of a messy person. Just get that about you. And I've read heaps of art blogs that say arty people are messy people. So that's what I'm going with, and I'm just sticking to it. And particularly when my mum comes to visit, I used to like clean up, give myself an ulcer cleaning, so it was perfect for her when she arrived. But the last 2 times she's arrived, I've just been myself, and she's like spent all this time cleaning my house while she's here, which I don't ask her to do, but she then goes, no, I know you're really busy, darling, so I'll just help you out. Yay! I'm just so be yourself. But my cat, because I have a dirty clothes basket, but when I take my clothes off to get into the shower, I have a little pile that I clean up most days, but she'll get them during the night, right? And she'll pee on them. And then I've got to soak them and wash them. And it's not because she's untrained. She's really good. Like, she doesn't do anything else there. You know what it is? It's, I've gotten out of a nice warm bed, Mum, and I can't be bothered walking all the way over the other side of the house to through the cold, on the cold tiles, to the laundry, and then coming all the way back. I'm absolutely convinced that's what it is, because she doesn't do it during the day, only during the night. So, Puss, you're banned from my bed at night until you stop doing that. So you are back in your kitty bed in the laundry where your food and water and litter tray are. And that's final. So she has been howling about that a little bit the last couple of nights, but she's used to it. Like, I put her in there, but I make sure I put her in late at night. So I put her in there, but she's like scratching to get out. So she wakes me up at like 6:30 in the morning. Meow, 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 scratch, 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 to get out. So I get out. And then she's like, if I then put myself back to bed, it was hilarious this morning because my husband and I were back in bed and curled up under the journeys because it's a bit of a wet, old, cold day today where I am in Daisy Hill in Queensland. There's this great big storm front that's come over New South Wales and Queensland, and it's like yuck. Anyway, so I snuggled back into bed to have cuddles, and the puss jumped up on my husband, and she reminds me of those cat cartoons that you see where they claw on you and they try and wake you up, and she was doing that, but it was this irritated. So we started to pat her and say, come and lie with us, you know, and she's like, no, no, don't touch me, don't touch me, I'm just here annoying you to get off the bed and get up and feed me and do whatever it is else that I want. And you know what, she had food but she didn't have meat, and I've created a monster because I started giving her some raw meat. Like if I'm chopping up fresh chicken or beef for dinner or whatever, I'll just give her tidbits. And for the first like 10 months we owned her, she wasn't interested, but lately she's like ravenous about it, and now that's all she wants. And I'm like, no, you need to eat your scientific formulated food, and then I'll give you treats of a little bit of raw meat. Anyway, well, every morning and all through the day it's meow, meow, meow. Goes to the kitchen where her little bowl is that I will put fresh meat in. Well, no. So she was really annoyed, tail twitching in bed, and then she sorted herself and was much happier when we got up, only to find out that I wasn't going to give her raw meat. Poor thing. No raw meat. Oh well. So she has taken herself off away, not into my bedroom, but into the lounge room on a cushion to sleep the day away in the sun that's coming in through one of the front windows. Although I don't think it'll be there much longer because I'm just looking out my window and it doesn't look nice. So anyway, that's it for me for this week on my vlogs. If you've got an issue or a question or you want me to explain something, I do these once a week. And if you want me to talk about anything that I'm doing at the moment, or something to do with letter journals, or any other project I'm involved with right now, just comment on my channel on this video and I write them all down and I take note of them for the next week. Alright then, ciao for now. Remember, learn something new today. It keeps you young. Bye.